Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Gwei Refuel, where we recap the latest news in the Ethereum ecosystem. I'm your host, Anthony Sassano, and today is the 12th of September, 2022. Alright everyone, let's get into it. So it is merge week. We are merging this week, less than 3 days to go now till the merge happens. TTD is trucking along, all well and good. And as I'm sure you all saw over the weekend, Google now has a merge countdown timer. So if you type in the merge or Ethereum merge, this nice little countdown timer pops up for you with some pandas here, the current difficulty, hash rate, and merge difficulty, so obviously that TTD number there. And the cool thing is the pandas in the picture actually get closer together as time goes on, as we get closer to TTD, and I'm assuming that they're going to eventually merge into an actual kind of like panda, black and white, all over, right? So that's very cool to see that Google did that. So anyone Googling the merge or Ethereum merge will get front and center this kind of little countdown, and obviously it links to further explanation about what it is. So yeah, I mean, this week is going to be big. I think it's going to be a volatile week for sure. I know it's funny. We picked a hilarious week to do the merge just from a markets perspective, because this week the fresh inflation numbers for August come out from the US, which is obviously always a very volatile time in the markets when that happens. And then we have the merge, right? And then there's a bunch of other macro things happening as well, I think. So yeah, just a bunch of things to keep in mind and keep on top of for sure. But I guess from the technical point of view, yeah, this is just amazing. Like, it's so close to happening now. I'm very much looking forward to it. And speaking of the pandas, there is going to be a Panda NFT which may already be live by the time you've watched this. It'll go live an hour after I post this video, I believe, which is here. So you can see the merge Panda NFT on Zora. The creator is Xiaowei Wang, who is a researcher at the Ethereum Foundation. I'm going to say this is the official merge NFT. You know how we had the EIP1559 NFT? Well, there are other merge NFTs that I've talked about. The new home of the heart that I've talked about with regards to Stateful Works, what they're doing. That's live right now, I think, by the time this video goes out. Whereas this one is going live, as I said, an hour after this video goes out. But it's going to be priced at 0.05 ETH. And this is obviously that Panda Fusion meme that I've been posting on Twitter for a while. Not just me, I think a lot of people have been posting it. And I can't wait for that to kick off, because I'm going to try my best to get the first one of this, because it's an open edition. So there's going to be, as many editions as people want, and people can mint for obviously this price. Yeah. And I believe all of 50% of the revenue will be going to Protocol Guild. 10% will be of the revenue will be donated to non-for-profit animal welfare organizations. And the rest, the 10% of Xiaowei's allocation, will be sent to Gitcoin Grants and Shonen Jump. That's cool. It's sending it to Shonen Jump. For those who don't know, that's a very popular manga publisher. I think the most popular manga publisher in Japan there. And the original illustration is going... the original illustrator of the pandas will get 25% of the revenue here. So very cool to see this. This is obviously going to be funding a bunch of really cool things, including core devs. So yeah, if you want to mint this, I'll link it in the YouTube description below, and you can go check that out. And speaking of a merge, I guess like more merge stuff here, you can see that there's an awesome merge dashboard on Alphaday here that you can go to at app.alphaday.com/b/merge. I'll link this in the YouTube description, but it's basically got a bunch of relevant news such as the merge countdown, some merge videos, key people to look at, the roadmap, all these sorts of stuff. So definitely go check this out. I'll link it in the YouTube description for you to do so. We got a new article about post-merge validator returns from Pintail over the weekend. So there has been a lot of discussion about what the returns, or I guess like the rewards rate, the APR, is going to be post-merge. Original estimates had it above 10%, and that was because the fee revenue was really high. Now, these days, if you include fee revenue and I think MEV, the estimates come down to, I think it was like 7.6% in a high MEV scenario and 6.1% in a low MEV scenario, and the median return at about 6.8%. So basically at that number, I think I mentioned before, 6 to 7%, including MEV. If it's actually that, right, 6 or 7%, which it looks like it will be at current fee revenue and current MEV, we're going to see a lot of more ETH get staked. Like right now, it's 4%. Obviously, there's still a risk with staking ETH and everything, and obviously the merge is going to be a de-risking event. But we really are going to see a bump up in that staking, in the amount of ETH being staked, which is just amazing because, as I've discussed in my bullish rant last week, there is that obviously that huge issuance reduction coming, and it's basically going to zero for 6 to 12 months. And then people saying, well, it's not just supply side, it's also demand side that matters. And like, well, yeah, I mean, we have a demand side, right? And we're going to be getting a bigger demand side because ETH staking yields are going to go up, and people are going to be like, wow, okay, I'm going to stake my ETH now because these yields are too juicy. And it's kind of the I guess, like, least risky yield on your ETH you can get. I think I would actually consider it the least risky yield you can get as well. But if you want to read Pintail's post here, I'll link it in the YouTube description because it is quite lengthy. It actually has a lot of data you can look at and goes through all the different scenarios and shows you what yields can be depending on, you know, a bunch of different factors and variables. So I've always enjoyed Pintail's posts. You know, I think Pintail and Cyrus Unessi, I remember back in the day, they were the first ones to actually write blogs about Uniswap that made me understand what Uniswap was. Because back then, Uniswap seemed like this black magic. No one understood how it worked, and no one understood like what was going on, how it could work, and there was all this debate around it. But I remember Pintail and Cyrus Unessi, both of their posts really explained Uniswap to me. So I've always read everything Pintail wrote since then because they've just been great. Their blog is here if you haven't heard of them before, pintail.xyz. They talk about, they write long posts about everything Ethereum related, or a lot of important Ethereum related things. And this one I really enjoyed reading as well, and just seeing how the rewards are going to be post-merge and what factors are going to play into it. So I'll link this in the YouTube description below for you to check out. We have a fresh update on ultrasoundmoney over the weekend. You can now watch the ultrasound barrier live on ultrasound.money. So what I mean by this is that if you scroll down a little bit here, you can see the time. This is only a 1 hour time frame right now. I think they're going to extend this out. But you can see over the last hour, any of the orange dots here, so anything above this line, is a base fee that is above the ultrasound barrier, which means that it's above the point it needs to be for ETH to be deflationary post-merge, I believe. I think this doesn't include proof of work issuance. It's just proof of stake issuance alone. So above 14.9 Gwei at current staked ETH amount means that will be deflationary. And underneath the line, there's blue dots here. So this is obviously only an hour time frame. I don't think you can actually change this yet. I would love to see it over, like, you know, 1 day, 7 day, 30 days, but it's good to have like this raw number now available for us to go look at. That 14.9 Gwei is that ultrasound barrier. Now this changes based on the amount of ETH staked. So for example, less ETH staked, less Gwei base fee that we need to be ultrasound, right? But obviously, the more ETH staked, the more issuance there is, the higher the ultrasound barrier needs to be. But this is actually a really low barrier when you think about it, right? I mean, I know gas has been in like the single digits for a little bit, but that's because the market still is overall very quiet. And I know there has been some movements in the market, like in the price of BTC and ETH and some other coins, but that really is just bear market things. I don't think that signifies a bull market at all. So when you really think about it, we're still able to get over this barrier relatively easily in a very deep bear market. So what happens when the activity comes back? People will say, oh, well, the activity is going to move to layer 2s, and then layer 1 fees are going to go down because it's actually cheap for layer 2s to post their data and their proofs to layer 1, and it's going to become cheaper after proto-dank sharding. That's true, but there's so much activity and liquidity on layer 1 still that is going to take a long time to migrate to layer 2, if it ever migrates. I'm actually of the opinion that a lot of people will still stay on layer 1, but we'll just have a lot of people onboarding to layer 2 and just never touching layer 1, because there's a massive network effect on layer 1 that has been built up for 7 years now that is not going away anytime soon. That means that the fees are going to spike, I think, and the fees are going to be above that ultrasound barrier a lot of the time. And then if layer 2s get as popular as we expect them to be, eventually they're going to saturate block space too, because like there's no such thing as infinite block space or infinite, scalability or anything like that. There's always a limit. There's always going to be a ceiling that gets reached, and then we're going to have fees that kind of go up to match that in the blockchain context. So, but yeah, I mean, I just thought this was really cool. I wanted to highlight it. The Ultrasound Money website is quickly becoming, or has already become, my favorite website for tracking everything got to do with the ETH supply. I mean, they've got everything here you need. Look at what it's got. All right, we start from the top. We have the merge TTD countdown here, which is amazing, right? Obviously, in a couple of days, it's not going to matter, but it's here, right? Then we've got the whole supply growth little section here, which shows the burn over any time frame you want to select here. You can do 5 minutes, 1 hour, 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, or all. So if we do 30 days, we can see the amount of burn over the 30 days, the supply growth under proof of work, and issuance, right? But then we can simulate merge, and then we can see what it's like under proof of stake, right? And the issuance on the proof of stake as well. Then you have what I just showed you about the ultrasound barrier. You have the current ETH supply updating in real time. You have supply projections, and you can play around with these sliders based on issuance rewards for stakers and burn rate and all that sort of stuff. So as you can see here, obviously the more ETH that's staked. So currently 13.7 million ETH is staked. Let's go to 20 million ETH. So what would be the ultrasound barrier? Well, this is the new ultrasound barrier here, and I don't think there's a number on it yet, but you can see how it adjusted, right? From where it is today, it went up because obviously with more ETH stake, there's more issuance, more burn needed to go ultrasound. And then you have something here that you can toggle as well, such as the ETH supply 2-year projection. So you've got the staking amount. So let's go to the staking about being 30 million ETH, and the base fee, let's say the base fee is 20 Gwei, we can kind of project out what the supply is going to be, like in accounts, in contracts, in validators, and total supply. And then you have the burn by, real-time burn per block, and also the burn leaderboard. So you can see here over any time frame, the same time frames as before, the burn leaderboard, burn total, burn rates, block, all that good stuff there, burn records, and burn categories. And then we've got another thing below that called total value secured. So the amount of value that the Ethereum network is securing, including ETH, ERC20s, and NFTs. Then down here, you have a whole section called monetary premium, which shows things like the scarcity of ETH, so how much is locked in staking, how much is in DeFi, how much has been burned. You have annualized profits of ETH and the growth profile, like compared to other companies. Like Intel, Google, Apple, and all that, and a monetary premium. This is another slider you can play with here. Then you have validator rewards, so where they're coming from right now. So issuance, tips, MEV estimate with a total and the total APR. So these are all estimates here for validator rewards. Issuance breakdown of where the issuance actually came from originally. So from the ICO, which was the Bitcoin crowd sale, proof of work, Ethereum Foundation, early contributors, proof of stake, flippenings. You can see here the kind of way of flippening for Bitcoin, Gold, and USD. And then down the bottom, you have a kind of visualization of everyone who's got the ultrasound bat signal in their Twitter name. And then even further down, you can basically sign up here, which I've done, to join the ultrasound Discord. I haven't joined it yet. I've joined the queue, and then there's a Q&A. So I just went through all of that, what's on this website. There's so much. It's as I said, it's quickly become one of my favorite, if not my favorite, ways to keep up with all things ETH supply related. I think it is my favorite at this point in time. So kudos to the team for this. Kudos to Justin Drake for pioneering the ultrasound money meme. He did a lot of great work there, and so did Bankless by giving him a platform to spread that meme. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys look at this site as much as I do, but I wanted to run through it because I thought it was just an interesting exercise. All right, so we have a fresh research post from Paradigm here today from Joachim New. Hopefully I said that name right. I don't think I did, but he posted something called Goldfish, a provably secure replacement for LMD Ghost in proof-of-stake Ethereum. Now, this is a little bit technical. You can go give the blog post a read, but basically what it is a proposed replacement for the current fork choice rule that Ethereum proof-of-stake uses called LMD Ghost. Now, this fork choice rule has been around for a while. It has had its issues that have been rectified, and it has had its kind of been put through its paces since the Beacon chain went live, but it is still not perfect, right? It is still not something that we should be happy with. We should be iterating on it, kind of building better things around it, and that's exactly what this blog post is talking about. This thing called Goldfish, which they're calling a provably secure replacement for LMD Ghost. Now, this isn't replacing proof of stake itself, which is Casper FFG, which is the friendly finality gadget. This is replacing the LMD Ghost section, which is the fork choice rule. So what I mean by that is that there is a rule inbuilt into the protocol called the fork choice rule that basically lets validators know which chain is the canonical one. That's like the TLDR, is the simplest explanation I can give there. Going deeper into it, it basically It basically ensures that validators don't get lost, I guess, if you want to dive deeper. But if you want to dive even deeper, you can go read these blog posts. So definitely go do that and go read all about Goldfish. I'm not going to bother TLDRing it here because, as I said, it does get quite technical, but it looks promising. I did kind of like ask some researchers about this, and they said it does look promising. Don't expect it to happen anytime soon. I don't think it will happen anytime soon, but it still looks promising, and it's still something that I think was very interesting. All right, so Alexei here posted a dashboard of Ethereum client distribution over time on the execution layer side. So you can see here on the left, this is, I believe, 2021. I believe this goes all the way back to 2016, 17 to 2022. And you can see how client distribution has changed over time. So basically, we started off with Geth and then Open Ethereum, which was the original parity client, which dominated for a while. And then you have here a bunch of other clients entering the fray. And then if we fast forward to today, we can see that Geth is still very dominant. Open Ethereum got deprecated, so it's off here. We had Aragon, starting to get a lot of share. Besu and Nethermind as well, getting a lot of the share of the network too. And this is zoomed in here to April 2021 to July 2022, and you can see this growth more. So this is basically our execution layer client diversity, with Geth at about 80%, which obviously we don't want to see. We want to see Geth below that, because client diversity on the execution layer is as important as it is on the consensus layer post-merge. But Aragon is still growing, so is Nethermind, so is Besu, and there's a bunch of other clients in there as well that are a bit smaller. But yeah, I mean, it really puts into perspective how big of a loss Open Ethereum was and Parity was for the ecosystem. Now, for those of you who don't know, Parity deprecated their client a while ago, and then it got taken over by Gnosis as Open Ethereum, and then it got deprecated, and I believe Gnosis is supporting the Aragon effort as a company. Now, the reason why Parity deprecated it, at least, look, I can't remember the reason they gave, but I don't think they explicitly said this, but I mean, it's pretty obvious. They're working on Polkadot, right? A competing layer one. So why would they work on something that benefited Ethereum? Plus, at the same time, it was probably a lot of overhead for them to work on it, to keep it up to date. So they just said, well, we're just going to deprecate it. And the reason why Open Ethereum was deprecated, I think, is because Gnosis wanted to focus their efforts on Aragon, because there was an actual, because Aragon was doing different things. They weren't just building another client. They were trying to optimize the archive node layer of a full node of an Ethereum node client. So yeah, but the good thing is that like it's not 100% Geth. I mean, if I have to find a silver lining, but post merge, we really need to do a very big push on getting people to switch from Geth to one of the other clients in order to get Geth below that critical threshold of 66%, just like on the consensus layer side. All right, so last thing about the merge. I think this is the last thing. Yeah, last thing about the merge. So this is another dashboard I came across that was shared to me by Superfizz at eth2.tax/merge. And you can just basically see a bunch of different metrics and kind of like tracking around the merge TTD and how close we are and where we are right now. So definitely go check this out. I'll link it in the YouTube description for you to do so. But just another dashboard for you to watch and see when the merge is coming, because it is coming this week. All right, so Tim Byko shared a tweet over the weekend saying, after the merge and with DevCon coming, we'll likely take a few weeks off from all core devs, consensus layer calls. That said, we still want to make progress on planning Shanghai, which is the network upgrade coming to Ethereum after the merge. So this is the one that will hopefully have a bunch of upgrades in it that people are looking forward to, such as ERP 4488, proto-dank sharding, and beacon chain withdrawals. So you can go visit this forum post to get a breakdown of that and join in the conversation. But yeah, I mean, as Tim says here, I think for about a month or so after the merge, the core dev protocol layer stuff is going to be a lot slower than it has been, because I think a lot of them are taking a break, well-deserved break. A lot of them are going to be in Germany for the conferences there, dappcon and ETH Berlin, and then they're going to be going to Bogota for DevCon and all the events around that. So I guess like it's a perfect time for them to take, maybe 4 or 5 weeks off as a break and get amongst the community, of course. Obviously we never take a full break from crypto, but still let them recharge, because it doesn't end at the merge. Like as I've said before, Vitalik has mentioned that we're only 40% of the way through the Ethereum roadmap at time of the merge, I believe. Or maybe that didn't include the merge, but still, we're not even halfway through just yet. So once the merge happens, let's give people a time to recharge and rest, and then they can obviously definitely come back and start working on Shanghai. But as Tim said, he wants to get the conversation started before this, and there is a lot of conversation in here already. So you can go check this out. I'll link it in the YouTube description below. But as I said, there are kind of a bunch of EIPs in the pipeline here, but the ones that people are most excited about, I believe, are beacon chain withdrawals and proto-dank sharding. All right, so at dappcon today, Proto Lambda, who works at Optimism, presented Optimism Bedrock and announced the release of the Bedrock Alpha testnet. And they're obviously eager for devs to test the infrastructure and dApps with the new network. So Bedrock is Optimism's version of Nitro. Like, we had Arbitrum Nitro go live, and that was amazing. But Optimism is also coming out with a major upgrade called Bedrock. As I said, the Alpha testnet is now live. This is expected to go live in Q4 on Optimism mainnet. Don't know when in Q4. They just said Q4. But it's going to bring with it a host of upgrades similar to what Nitro did. But it's cool to see that it is live in an Alpha testnet fashion right now, and you can go read more about it in this blog post here that's linked in this tweet thread as well. And I've talked about it a lot in the past, so I'm not going to rehash it here, but cool to see that it's live on the Alpha testnet today. All right, and speaking of Optimism as well, and I spoke about this last week from Ryan B, who put out a tweet about how we should have like a really easy way for people to spin up their own rollups, right? So Mark here from Optimism said, Optimism is building the Cosmos SDK of EVM equivalent rollups with Bedrock. So basically, you can see in the comment here in a reply to Hazu, Hazu said, as in other rollups will use Bedrock, and Mark says, yes, we want to make it as easy as possible for other rollups to use Bedrock and build a network effect of credibility with many eyes on the code. So Cosmos SDK is probably the best thing that Cosmos has going for it. Like, I'm not going to say actually, it's funny. Like, I don't have a strong opinion on Cosmos, but I know that the Cosmos SDK is really good. Developers love it. And it's a reason why people opt to spin up these app chains on Cosmos. So if we want the same thing to happen on Ethereum with layer 2s, we need to create something like the Cosmos SDK for this. Now, Optimism is saying that with Bedrock, they are doing this, which means that people will be able to spin up their own layer 2s in a Cosmos SDK-like fashion on Ethereum using Optimism's technology, which is a huge win because, as I said before, I like app chains. I think they're fine, but I don't think that a sovereign app chain or a layer 1 app chain is the solution here. I think that the app chains work best as layer 2s for a number of different reasons. The main reason is economics at the end of the day, like economic sustainability and security, which I guess falls into that, because at the end of the day, you get Ethereum security by just paying a small fee to Ethereum. The fee isn't even big. Like, it's not like these layer 2s are paying enormous layer 1 costs to secure themselves. And if they were, it would mean that they're doing a lot of activity, so it's actually worth it for them to pay it. So they don't have to issue their own token as inflationary rewards to miners or validators, right, to secure the network. Whereas layer 1s do, because they have to spin up their own validator set. Whereas layer 2s don't have to do that. They might want to spin up more sequences and things like that, but they don't have to spin up their own consensus engine and pay people to come to consensus on it, because all they're doing is paying Ethereum for that, and they're not paying very much for that either. So they're getting extreme bang for your buck. So cool to see that Optimism is working on a Cosmos SDK-like thing for rollups on Ethereum. I think it's sorely needed, that's for sure. All right, so another big partnership announcement out of Polygon today. Starbucks is going to be working with Polygon on something called Starbucks Odyssey, which is a unique experience that enables you to earn and buy digital collectible stamps and unlock new coveted coffee experiences. So you can read more at the blog post here, but cool to see another big company choosing Polygon to do their, I guess, like Web3 NFT stuff on. It makes a lot of sense, of course. And as I said before, Polygon has the best business development team in crypto, and there's no surprise to me that they landed a company like Starbucks. And it's actually funny because I was thinking, like, how can I participate in this? I'm pretty sure there's like one Starbucks in Melbourne because I think they tried to launch, and then Melbourne coffee is so good and so varied with little cafes everywhere that Starbucks wasn't very popular. So I'm pretty sure there's like one in the city, maybe one at the airport or something. So I don't think I'm going to be taking advantage of this, but obviously Starbucks is absolutely massive in the US. I don't know where else it's big in. I've been to the US and seen them everywhere. So if you are a Starbucks coffee drinker, you can definitely get around this and go check out all the details here. But I think this is just a cool announcement from Polygon altogether, because at the end of the day, we need to bring more of these companies into the Ethereum family, and Polygon is doing the work to get that happening. All right, so I came across this Twitter account called Fire over the weekend, and what Fire is a tool that makes Web3 simple by showing you what happens at the smart contract level in a human-readable format. So basically, you know how on MetaMask, when you're presented with a bunch of like weird characters and actions and things that you can't really read, or weird information that you can't really read, and you don't know what's happening with like your account or what's happening on your interactions that you're doing with smart contracts. Well, with Fire, they're actually making it easy for you to see what's happening. So they're basically decoding that. So I can't show you the video because it's small here, but I'm going to try and get the image up on their website to show you what this looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like here. You can see in the screenshot that there's an overview. So when you've done a transaction to swap 0.1 ETH for 100 DAI on the Ethereum mainnet, you see a nice little table here of this is how it affects your wallet. You're going to be sending these assets out. You're going to be sending your ETH out, and then you're going to be the ETH out you want to swap, and then you're going to be sending some ETH out as gas. And then the swap is going to this Ethereum address, which is a contract, and then the gas is going to miners, and then you can see what asset you're getting in is this amount of DAI from a swap and to your address. If you were to look at this in MetaMask, it's not going to show you this at all. It's going to show you some weird ass data that you have no idea how to interpret it. But Fire lets you do this. Now, Fire is not live right now live publicly. You can get early access by signing up here. I signed up the other day and still haven't gotten mine, so I don't know how long it's going to take. But yeah, I mean, I think this is sorely needed. I mean, look at this. This will actually warn you when you're transferring something in like a an orange kind of like tinge here that basically says, warning, this will transfer your ape to this address, right? And it actually kind of pulls in exactly where it's transferring it to. And you could imagine like taking this much further than this, like token allowances. You can have it so that there's like a community of people that are submitting maybe a list of scam addresses and things like that, so that it can pop up in the wallet for people and say, hey, this address was flagged as related to a fish or related to a scam. You shouldn't interact with this at all. Go check here for more information. Like, this is what we need to protect people. And this is how Web3 can go more mainstream. And you can see here malicious content. You can block things, malicious contract. You can block different contracts and stuff like that. This is what we need because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that get scammed very easily because they just can't read what they're doing. They're essentially signing things without having any idea what they're signing, and there's been plenty of examples of this happening across the ecosystem. So I am super excited that someone is making this. I'm going to keep promoting it and highlighting it. Hopefully I get early access soon. I was in two minds about DMing them and being like, hey, I really want early access to this because I want to show like you guys about it. But I kind of get weird about kind of doing that and using my name, so to speak, to get access to things. But I think I'm going to do it because I want to show you guys how it works in real time on my end as well. But yeah, you can go check this out for yourself. Go sign up for early access. I'll link it in the YouTube description below. All right, so last two things here. There is now a legal defense fund that has been set up for Virgil Griffith. You can go donate to it at virgildefensefund.eth. Now, this is legit as it's coming from Eva Balin, who is a fully doxed known person in the crypto ecosystem. She is an executive, I believe, at Graph Protocol. So you're not just sending the money into the ether, so to speak, right? It is actually going to be going to the right place here. So yeah, you can send it here if you want to fund Virgil Griffith's legal defense fund. If you don't have to donate, like no one's forcing you, but yeah, and then this is a way to do it with ETH, RAI, USDC, or DAI, but I'm pretty sure they would accept any token that you sent across. Maybe just don't send something like a dick butt NFT or something, right? Or maybe do. I mean, maybe Virgil will get a bit of a laugh out of that. They'll probably tell him about that. But yeah, if you want to support him, definitely go donate to this fund. All right, lastly, just wanted to quickly highlight that the Protocol Guild has a Gitcoin grant spun up on Gitcoin, of course. You can go donate to that. Obviously, the Protocol Guild is all about funding Ethereum core developers, so I put my full weight behind. This is something that you should definitely donate to. In saying that, there is a new Gitcoin grants channel in the Discord, in the Daily Gwei Discord channel that people have shared their grants in that you should definitely go check out. Last week, I did ask people to share their grants on Discord or share ones that they thought should be funded. Well, I created a channel for that so you can easily share everything in there, and then people can go check it out and can go donate to it if they want to. So highly recommend you all go check out what's already been posted in there. But if you have something that you think is underfunded or that you think should get more attention, go post it in there. And if there is a tweet associated with it as well, that'd be good to post in there as well so people can go and interact with it and retweet it and things like that. But on that note, that's going to be it for today. So thank you everyone for listening and watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the newsletter, join the Discord channel, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Thanks everyone.